I've got a briefcase with a paw print on it, which can only mean one thing. Angry Mao is back, and if you guys didn't see my last video, Angry Mao makes, they call it their Infinity battery mouse. The last one we have here is, this is the AM Infinity, has a removable battery that you can just take out. So you have two of these batteries, one's always charging. When it needs to be replaced, you just pop it out and you're good to go. This is their newest version, which is the AM Infinity 97. And this is a prototype version. So let's take a look and see what we're gonna get. I gotta say, they do nail the presentation. This is filled with Turbo Virgin vibes. You know, if you have a briefcase for your mouse, what does it say about you? But let's take a look at what we get in here. This is a prototype version. I do want to make that clear. Some things on this may change. I know this back hump right here isn't going to be this material, but it's going to be a different material on the final version that you guys will see at the time this launches. So we got a little QR code Discord card here. Are these grips? Oh boy, they included grips. Let's see what the grips are like. Okay, yeah. Run-of-the-mill grips. Nothing like particularly special. But hey man, I'll take whatever you're gonna give me. So we got these little bean skates here. That's cute. We got a USB-C to USB-C cable completely branded with the paw print from Angry Mao. And this is a loosely braided cable. Has a tumor on it as well. We got a nice little accessories pouch to put everything inside of, including your mouse. And last but not least, it looks like we get a Type-C to Type-A converter for the USB cable. Cool. The cool thing about this mouse is the dongle right here. So I went for the white version. I have the black version, as you saw. I do really like this mouse, and I'll explain why in just a minute. But that's all you gotta do to charge your battery. So this part right here, this is the dongle. So this is your wireless receiver, and this pulls up to 8K. Not that you should use 8K or 8K is any good, but it can do it in case you're that basement turbo virgin, like I said. And on the back of it, you can see where the magnets line up. You can charge your battery while you're using the mouse. So it's not exactly an infinite battery. That would just be ridiculous, but it's pretty much as close as you can get. And I gotta say, I do like the aesthetic, their branding and everything. Pretty straightforward. Onto the actual mouse itself. So they've definitely made some changes on the AM97 here. And you can kind of see them if I put this side by side. The shape is slightly different. Most noticeably is we have this back hump. And again, this right here is going to be replaced with a different final material. So yeah, it's completely removable. So they'll have something else. From what I've seen, it's gonna be like a clear, like poly purple. But it looks like the big difference between these guys right here is that bit of space right there, so you can replace that back hump. So if you're somebody who really likes having that feeling against the back of your hand. Wait, is that magnetic too? No way, that's magnetic too. Magnets, dude. So that just magnetically sits in there. That is so cool. I like magnets. I don't know if you could tell. This feels, they feel about the same way. We'll weigh them in a second here. But this has a textured material versus this being this is metal, and it's definitely a little more rigid, feeling and polish, I guess. It glides on the top. The bottom footprint has changed a little bit, huh? So the bottom of this is similar, but you can tell they're definitely in the refinement stage. Choosing where to remove selected materials. They still have the same 2.4 gigahertz wireless on one side, off, and then for Bluetooth over here, and I don't use Bluetooth, that's not really for me. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of the mouse too, if you think about it, because how else are you gonna charge it? So, right? I gotta say, this guy, the previous version, the AM, I use this all the time at work. I do really like this mouse a lot. It is so convenient being able just to hot swap the battery and just grab the next one and put it in, and you never have to worry about plugging in your mouse at work. I do really like that feature. I use it. I actually took this from the office to bring home so I could use this in the video here today. Overall, it doesn't look like too much has changed. The profile is very similar. I think with the inclusion of this new mounted piece on the back, if you are somebody who likes feeling your palm against the back of the mouse, that's going to make this way more appealing for you now. They didn't list the information on the sensor that's included. They said it was proprietary. I'm assuming it's probably some form of a 3950, of course, because of the 8K as well. The battery, let's see if we can see any details about the battery on camera here. I couldn't read any of that. Well, maybe on a freeze frame you guys can see. These are TTC orange dot optical micro switches on this guy. Can I actually see those? So these are TTT switches if you're into that lifestyle, which I do like. They do sound pretty decent. They sound very crisp. There's no mush. They feel very, 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 very rigid, which I like. I don't like having mush in my clicks. I like a very rigid sound. Give me the shake test. Nothing seems loose or anything like that. The mouse wheel, I gotta say, it's not my favorite, but this is totally personal preference. So what's good for me may not be good for you. And that's okay. We're allowed to have different preferences about these things, guys. All the time I see people putting together a tier list. Keep in mind, when somebody puts together a tier list, it's a tier list for them because their hand is different than yours. Their preferences are different than yours. For me, I like a more ratcheting sounding scroll wheel. And this one's definitely muted. It's also very stiff, which it is a stiffer mouse. It's rigid, like I was saying. My favorite mouse wheel that I've tried recently, believe it or not, is the Shroud G303 mouse wheel. And if you guys haven't seen that video yet, go check it out. I obviously talk a lot about Shroud. So it says this is made from a magnesium alloy. I gotta say, whatever coating that they put on this definitely makes it feel more like a plastic than a magnesium alloy. Like this guy, this right here, you can probably even hear it, the difference. Like this guy feels way more like magnesium alloy than this guy, and that's because of the coating difference. Like I said, this has definitely like a grippier coating. It definitely feels like a primer material. This feels like a polished metal. So it is a magnesium alloy, which explains the stiffness of the mouse. Like nothing on this, even with the scalloped material, nothing's moving. But this one I can actually feel like the temperature changes in. If I leave this in a cold area, this is gonna get cold. I don't think the same thing is gonna be true of this guy. Yeah, by the way, they call the sensor the AM Real 8K engine. I want to say it's a 3950. Hold on. We're going to prove this right now, chat. The 3950s are marked. So if that's a 3950, yeah, it's a 3950. I was right. So I was right. It's a 3950. It's they say it's a proprietary AM Real 8K engine. So I'm assuming what that means is they just made some changes to the software. I don't think they made any changes to the hardware. That would be rather costly, and I don't think they did it. So it's just a regular binned 3950, which is, it's fine. That's good. That's the flagship model that's out. You can't tell the difference between that and the last 3 models because it's getting so ridiculous with mice. So it's okay. You are getting the latest and greatest. That I can confirm for you. They say 47 grams. Let's give that a testaroonie. right here real quick. I have to put my hand over this because my camera focus is very weird. This one's a bit heavier. This is 51 grams. Doing it again, it's zeroed out. 51. Let's see if we lose the back piece here. If that gets our weight closer. Yeah. So this little back piece here, it's probably the magnet that's the majority of the weight, but this little back piece alone is about 2 grams. I know some of you guys really like lightweight, like super lightweight, like under 40 grams. So if that's the case, this is definitely closer to 50 grams. So it's closer to the weight of a super light than say something like a Final Mouse. The Final Mouse I can actually tell just in hand is a bit lighter. This is, for reference, about 20 grams lighter. This is worth mentioning, but this shape right here is their take on the Razer Viper V3. So if you're somebody who is a big fan of the Razer Viper V3 shape, then this is something that would be right up your alley. I just noticed that these are particularly thin and kind of bend a little bit if you have a heavy hand. So be careful if you got a heavy hand. This is pretty much a clone of the Viper V3. Post-production, me is going to put a graphic up of the V3 shape right here, the Viper V3 from Elo Shapes. Go there if you're just starting to get into this and you want to find something that works for your hand, because whatever fits in your hand, that's where you should land first. All right, you don't want to start talking about sensors and all that stuff. It really doesn't matter. Sensor, battery, I would say how it feels in your hand and weight are probably way more important. How you actually use it, right? It glides just fine. It's like nothing super special. My personal preference is to have a real fat, big skate. I like big skates. Watch my Trout video, I explain. But basically, the more skate you have, the more points of contact I find to be more reliable. So I bring that back to my background with working with tools. I've done a lot of woodworking with hand tools, and really the 101 of that is when you're using something like a chisel, you want as many points of contact on it as possible for the best control. I would actually like to see a mouse where the whole bottom piece is a skate, but no one's doing that. If you're in Shenzhen, give me a call. I got some ideas. Shape-wise, you can see that this guy on the bottom is a bit flatter in this area. This has a bit more curve to it. You can definitely feel that in your hands. Like if I were to describe it, on this guy right here, I definitely feel it more in my, I don't know, my palm knuckles. Where my fingers leave my palm. They're both very comfortable. I would prefer this one just because using the magnesium alloy, like the actual polished magnesium alloy, where I work, it can get cold. This can get cold. I do like the mouse a lot, but this does get cold. This is definitely not going to get nearly as cold as that. So with the dongle here, let me give you a quick demonstration. Say you're gaming, right? You get low mouse warning. Well, see on this one, because of the back, you have to reach a little further. This one, you can just take it right out, but this is a personal preference, so you can just take this out if you want to. So that would be an extra step if you were somebody that wanted to use this. It's not a deal breaker or anything, I'm just letting you guys know. So if you're gaming with this, you want to switch out your battery, you have to take this off, pull that out, come over here, grab your battery, put that in, put that back on, do that, you're back to 100% charge. You can continue playing Counter-Strike. If you're watching this, you're probably playing Fortnite, I'd imagine. What's your favorite game to play with these crazy mice? Let me know in the comments. I am particular to FPS games like Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike's a good old time. Been playing for a very long time. My brother and I have been playing Arc Raiders a lot. That's a lot of fun. What are you guys playing right now? Curious. I see this as a welcome addition to their lineup. It has small differences, but I think they're really starting to refine a good idea that they already have. I said this in the last video. I haven't seen anybody do that. That's a completely unique, original idea, and I think that is like awesome. That's exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to getting these on my bench in front of me here. I'm so tired of, this one has the best sensor, this one has the best sensor, this one has switches. Give me cool, weird features. That's a cool, weird feature. No one else is doing that. No one else is copying it. They might have lightning in a bottle here. It's definitely very convenient. Do you guys think let's put the grips on? Why not, right? Let's put the grips on. Oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. So this is what it looks like with the grips installed. I actually think I like it better without the grips. Maybe I'll take that off for the thumbnail. That is grippy. That's not going anywhere. Aesthetic wise, I wish they did, instead of white, like blue, black, red, gold. That would have been cool. Real neat, but what are you gonna do? Overall, I do really like this. I should probably talk about the price. They call this the hatchback, by the way. This guy right here, since it's removable, they call it the hatchback. That's clever. Oh, they do annotate here that it's 47 grams without the hatchback. What do we get? We got like 50. No, they said 47 grams. I think we got 49 or 48 grams. So that's pretty close. That's within the margin of error. Polling rate, true wireless, 8K. Battery life, hot swap battery system. I do wish they would put how much battery you can realistically get. If it's anything like this, I can tell you for regular office use, I'm like swapping out the battery like once every 1.5 to 2 weeks. It takes a while, and that's, you know, at the office computer pretty much for like 5 to 8 hours a day, depending on what I'm doing. So it does last a while. It's not like at 1,000 hertz polling. For all you out there that use 8,000 hertz, get ready for your battery life to be absolutely cooked. Get 30 minutes of battery life. This is launching on Kickstarter here. So this, at the time of filming this isn't readily available. I think I mentioned that this is the prototype model. The hatchback here is not going to be this printed like kind of white color. It's going to be, I think they landed on like a poly purple, like a translucent purple, but I'm not seeing a price in the guide they gave me. I don't have a price tag for you guys. It wasn't in the review guide that was sent to me, but if it's anything like this dude right here, this was $130. I can't tell you if it's worth it without knowing the price, but I can kind of tell you my thoughts and feelings if it's in this ballpark. If it's around the $130 mark, it's definitely on the more premium side of pricing. I feel it should be a bit more affordable. They do have a unique feature that no one else on the market's doing, and it is a very premium mouse. It does, like when you hold this does not feel like it's cheap. This feels very premium. I haven't had any issues with this guy. Obviously, we just unboxed this one. I can't tell you anything about that. I imagine on the Kickstarter, when this launches, they'll probably have some early birds. If you do want to get this, make sure you get it at the discounted price, because $130 is a lot of money for a mouse. I can't throw a full endorsement behind that amount of spending. I do think it's very cool. And if you can swing something like that and you're some geek like me and you want to spend your money on mice, go for it. But usually there's other things you can invest in your signal chain that are much more worth it. This is just kind of like the caveats, the icing, the user experience, right? But gotta say, it's definitely an improvement over the V1. Has the Viper shape, replaceable battery, 3950 sensor, TTC, optical switches. Only real criticism is the mouse wheel. So there you have it. As always, guys, I hope you learned something. And until next time, GG.